Education meeting is now called to order. If you choose to do so, will you please join me in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you.
I'd like for everyone to stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have before you the agenda for today's board meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Before we start the recognition part of our program tonight, we have David Carrington with us, Jefferson County Commission, and husband of retiree, Dr. Sonia Carrington. Glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
At this time is our recognition portion of the program. Scott Mitchell, principal of Rock Scout Intermediate School, is here to tell us about their recent award.
I thought I was here to get a picture taken. I didn't realize I was going to have to speak till just a few moments ago. But these folks with me here are the heart of our, what we call the Green Team at Rock Scout Intermediate School. The United States Department of Education created what's called the Green Ribbon School Program just 3 years ago. And so the first wave saw Green Valley Elementary School as one of the first schools to be recognized for that national honor. It's under the same umbrella as the Blue Ribbon School Program, where the Blue Ribbon School focuses on academic excellence. The Green Ribbon School recognizes environmental education in 3 different areas. One is reducing the environmental impact and cost for the community, improving the health and the wellness of schools, students, staff, and the community surrounding them, and 3, providing environmental education for our students, teaching many disciplines and focusing on green career pathways in the future. And so Tracy Engelwright is one of our enrichment teachers, and she kind of spearheaded the Green Team, and our assistant principal, Carrie Pate, and Christy Willis, one of our Green Team members. We were able to go to Washington in July and receive that prestigious honor from Mr. Arnie Duncan, Secretary of Education, Department of Education for the United States. And so we were proud to be the second recipient from Hoover, and the only intermediate school from the state of Alabama to ever receive the award. So Ms. Engelwright did a great job of actually recognizing what our teachers have already been doing. It has nothing to do with Ms. Pate or myself. It has to do with Terry Davis and Ms. Kubis in the back, our PTO president. This was a group effort. And so everything we do, we come back to how does this impact the school, how does it impact the community, how does it impact the environment. And it's really become a mantra for our school. So we're excited to continue that honor this year. So that's it.
In comparison to the recognitions and awards you got in Washington, and really does not describe the persistence and dedication to the folks standing here as well as the folks in your school too. I can personally testify to the persistence of Ms. Engelwright. So congratulations to your school, and appreciate the good work.
That's right.
At this time, Mary Bill and Christy Williams will recognize our most recent retirees.
Needless to say, we were a little nervous about moving these glass awards through the aisle, but with the help of Mr. Sweeney, we made it without any falling or breaking, so thankfully we appreciate your help. Retirement is a very special milestone in anyone's life. We are very, very proud to recognize a large number of our retirees tonight who've devoted a great deal of time supporting the students throughout their educational journey. As teachers, administrators, bus drivers, support staff, we all combine to form a community to support our most precious assets, which is, of course, our children. For the 2013-2014 year, we have a total of 52 retirees. From this number, we have approximately 32 who have received 25 or more years of service, which are represented with the larger size award on the table. Others being recognized have anywhere from 10 to 24 years of service and have met retirement eligibility requirements. Ms. Christy Williams has worked diligently to organize this special event and occasion, and many of you have corresponded with her, and I appreciate her willingness to get all of this together. Also, what we would like for you to do is once you receive your award, Ms. Williams will give that to you, and the board members and the superintendent would also like to express their appreciation for your years of service to Hoover City Schools. And if you will just stay at the front and kind of form a line, Mr. Gaston will be taking your photo at the end. The other thing that we wanted to mention, in the lobby, we have boxes that have your names for those that reserved, and so we will have a box for you to place these in a safe, secure place on the ride home. I also wanted to mention of those attending tonight, which is approximately 15 or 16, we'll verify, we have over 460 years of educational experience represented. Now total, if we'd had all 52, you can imagine the number of years of service. But from teachers, administrators, operations, child nutrition, bus drivers, every person that is a part of Hoover City Schools helps form the child, and we greatly, greatly appreciate all that you do for our students. First, I would like to recognize James Burgess, 26 years of service, all 26 with Hoover City Schools, carpenter in our operations department. Next, Carolyn Cambria, Hoover High School, instructional support teacher. Carolyn had 26 years with Hoover City Schools and 39 years of service in education. Next, Dr. Sonia Carrington, 14 years of service with Hoover City Schools and a total of 34 years in education. Ann Hastings, counselor, Hoover High School, total of 30 years of service. Linda Haynes, Deer Valley, child nutrition worker, 14 years of service with Hoover City Schools and 29 years of service in education. Susan Kinnemer. Susan was a teacher at Bluff Park Elementary, 14 years of service with Hoover City Schools and a total of 28 years of service with education. Johnny Lassiter. Is Johnny here? Linda Mattinger. Linda had 7 years of service with Hoover City Schools, 29 years of service, as a math teacher at Bumpus Middle School. Ray McKinney. Ray was one of our special ed bus drivers and transportation who made sure our students were to and from school safely. 26 years of service. Indubala Patel. Indubala was child nutrition worker at Hoover High School with 14 years of service. Kathy Roseman. Kathy was at Gwen as custodian, 25 years of service. Connie Schaefer, Bluff Park, teacher, 26 years of service with Hoover City Schools and 30 years in education. Mary Troncalli, teacher, Gwen Elementary School, 26 years with Hoover City Schools and almost 40 years of service with education. Stephanie Turpin, South Shakes Crest, child nutrition manager, 25 years of service. Leilani Turrentine. Leilani is at Berry Middle School, drama teacher, 16 years of service with Hoover City Schools and 31 years in education. William Red Willoughby, teacher, Crossroads, 10 years of service. Have we missed any other retirees that are present? Again, we want to thank all of you for all that you've done for the students of Hoover City Schools. Every one of you is very important to us, and we wish you luck. Many of us envy where you are. Congratulations. Before you leave, one other important thing that we wanted to do. Any family member that is present with the retiree, would you please stand and let us recognize you for supporting your spouse or your mother or father? Mr. Gaston said we'll take pictures in the lobby.
We move up, is that all right? Hey there, stranger. Good to see you.
How you doing? I thought I'd see you here.
All right.
I really did.
Yeah.
You going to the council meeting?
56 to a meeting.
You have the minutes from the regular board meeting of September 8, 2014, and the called board meeting of September 9, 2014. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes? Do I have a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next, the personnel report. Any questions for Ms. Bill? If not, do I have a motion to approve the personnel report? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The personnel report is approved. The business items are before you. Are there any questions for Ms. Ante? Okay. Any questions for Mr. Craig then?
The only question I have, auxiliary services. Is that budgeted versus, budgeted versus, actual? So that's down this year. On page, I'm sorry, page 3.
Page 3.
Yeah, page 3, on the expenditures.
Part of that variance, my suspicion is we have not purchased buses. We typically budget the amount that's allocated, and we have not purchased buses this year. I'll verify that with Ms. Ante, but that would be based on the variance. I would say that's part of that is.
Any other questions for Mr. Craig? Do I have a motion to approve the business actions?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The business actions are approved. You have a capital plan submission. Any questions for Mr. Craig?
Can you elaborate a little bit, Mr. Craig, on exactly what this is?
Yeah, the state requires that we file a 5-year capital plan annually. That's essentially what this is. It's been, the document you see is the document that software, that platform provides. Once that is input, a lot of those classifications are menu driven. But what we essentially have, with the exception of the outdoor facilities at Bumpus Middle School, is an estimation of annual life cycle type costs that we would plan for over the 5-year period.
So we're looking at a lot of expiration dates on roofing and things of that nature,
Yeah, it's-
main points.
Yeah, that's primarily a estimation.
20 years.
It's a solid tentative expectation, I would say.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the capital plan submission?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The recommendation of a capital plan submission is approved. Next on the agenda is a list of salvage items. Any questions for Mr. Craig?
These are buses that were intended to be on the report last month, but didn't make it on the report. So the nature of these items is the same.
Mr. Craig, I would like to, Ms. Auntie's not here, I'll speak up. Recently, it's my understanding we don't operate like the city as far as having to declare things surplus. We have to sell them for fair values as far as appraisal. I believe you said in the last meeting that we were allowed to, we sold some buses for sale at a good price to do, somebody used buses that go through the system. I think Ms. Auntie helped get another school system that used the bus recently to actually go back into the school to help children in another part of the state, so I think that's great.
Yeah, I think they met here Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and I think inspected a bus or two, and they're going to go back and deliberate.
That's fine.
Thanks, Ms. State.
Any other questions regarding the salvage items? Do I have a motion to approve the salvage items?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The salvage items recommendation is approved. The approval of an English, language, arts, and math curriculum is before you. Any questions for Dr. Dodson tonight?
Can you expand on it?
Yes, sir. This is the college and career ready standards in English and mathematics that we've been developing for the last 2 years, building up to. So just ready to take the word draft off of it.
Dr. Dodson, if I'm understanding it correctly, this is a new basis reference, a new testing we're under now, so maybe you can explain it better. When we finally receive scores, there's going to be a different reference point to get our children ready to go out into the workforce or into college ready for the future. This is Alabama's version of Common Core, taking the Common Core version and also taking it beyond there for Alabama schools upon approval by the state.
It is, and it's really probably the alignment of the accountability is it starts with the ACT at the end of high school and works its way back. The ACT has a new suite of assessments that goes all the way down to 3rd grade that is predictive of college success all the way up through there. So we've been, in the past, we've previously only assessed students for college readiness at the 8th grade. And so this takes it all the way down into 3rd grade, allows us to determine students certainly are not college ready in 3rd grade, but are they on a trajectory to be college ready in the area of reading and math at that point? If not, what do we need to do to get them there? So the curriculum is there to make sure we can support that in terms of what they need to be at that level, and then the assessments are there to help us find those students and recognize whether they're there or not. So we've got those first results, the student results in. Schools, we've been printing those. We now found out the state's going to print them, but they told us a little bit too late. But we have printed those results for parents, and schools are organizing meetings, elementary and middle schools, probably over the next 3 to 4 weeks, where they will pass those reports out to parents and explain it's a brand new assessment. It's a whole new way of looking at it. So there's going to have to be a lot of learning in terms of what they're looking at.
It's my understanding this test actually gives you situational examples for children, not just yes, no, and black and white answers. So there's a different way of testing to make the kids get involved and have an application in life and their learning rather than just a yes or no answer.
It is true. The math is very multi-step. They've got to work through several aspects of a problem, even in the younger grades. The writing is very ambitious. Students have to cite evidence, have to make justifications for what they're saying. So it is very sophisticated.
Thank you.
You said it's going to be another 3 or 4 weeks before the students get their results. Why is it taking so long?
We weren't sure exactly how long it was going to take to get it printed, so when I was shooting dates out to principals, they were looking along the lines of where the parent conference day is and trying to schedule, if not on that day, then close to that day, which is in mid-October.
I mean, that will have been almost a month and a half or 2 months since we've had the results.
Well, we've only had the results in a form that we could print for about 2.5 weeks, and it took almost 2 weeks to complete the printing. It took about, oh my goodness, probably, we were getting about 100 reports per hour printed. We had to print about 7,000.
Wouldn't you print those at the school level? Because it doesn't, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to print them all up here and then ship them out.
They had to be printed on a high resolution printer. The detail, again, the reports, as I showed them to you at the last meeting, they were never really meant to be printed. They were meant to be an online access, but the state doesn't have the website set up yet for parents to do that. So you're printing something that really should be viewed on a web page, on a computer. The resolution is very fine, and if you try to print it on just a desktop printer, you're going to get a lot of smudge and the numbers are not going to be clear. So we had to use a high resolution printer. It's fairly slow. We had to do it school by school, grade by grade. So we literally just got the last box to schools, I believe, on Friday.
The reason I'm saying this is because other local school districts have put that information out there, have set up websites with streaming videos talking about how to, work through the understanding of the new assessment tool, ACT Aspire and certain other components of that website will give you a very good tutorial. And for me, to wait that long and then need to manage this thing up front in terms of image, because I'm not, depending upon how these things turn out, and I really don't know. There's some people who've done extremely well with these results, and you can say it's the first year I got all that, but the longer you wait, the harder it's gonna be to get toothpaste back in the tube if there's a lot of explanation that needs to go around it.
I agree. And having the results after school started is obviously the worst possible scenario. There were, I think they told us last week, 2 million irregularities in this administration last spring. There was a lot of technical problems, not across the whole state. So ideally, next year, we should have scores back in July as opposed to September. That should make things a lot better, but we're going to get out in front of this as fast as we can.
Well, I mean, there's the irregularity piece that should be identified by the administrator, that is the principal. And then there's the piece that goes to the parent that needs to be digested, processed, and understood. So the longer we wait, the more difficult it's going to be to manage.
In January, if I'm incorrect, just please state it, we had a 3-hour work session on curriculum. I don't know if we want to wait that long for that to happen again, but do you think that having some type of work session isolated around testing and things of that nature would be beneficial?
Be glad to do that again if you feel, I'd be glad to do that at your service.
Right.
I think I looked on the website again this morning, and the actual video that goes through the explanations of all the forms, and it's very, very straightforward and not very complex, and it takes about, it's about a 12-minute video. It's pretty straightforward.
They're very good. The resources, again, we just wish we would have had them a little earlier.
I would, for me, just saying, that's what I would do. For me, I pass that link on to parents right now, let them start spinning themselves up and trying to understand the process, because it has nothing to do with ARP data, it has nothing to do with any other assessment that they've seen. And they need to start trying to process it, because when you talk about a range of outcome, the 400s that are probably 412 to 430 or something like that, it's not going to be a 1, 2, 3, or 4 thing. It's going to be a hard thing to get your mind around. So you need to start early, work late.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Dr. Dodson? Do I have a motion to approve the English, Language, Arts, and Math curriculum?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The English, Language, Arts, and Math curriculum are approved. Next on the agenda is the approval of a rights of way and easements for the Patton Chapel Road Phase 3 road project.
Ms. Frazier did not have enough time to completely review through those documents and those items. Ask that we bring that back at a later time, potentially next board meeting, or possibly even if we can completely work through those items with our attorney, possibly in a call meeting if that becomes necessary. The nature of that is the Patton Chapel Road project in and around Simmons and Glen Elementary Schools. There's some reworking of that intersection. There's also some reworking of Glen, will also affect Glen, potentially Simmons as well. There's some requested donations of property, exchanges of property back and forth, and temporary construction easements that would go along with that project, and also some drainage easements. But as I say, we have not had the opportunity to work completely through that, and would like to bring that back at a later time.
Absolutely. At this time, information reports. Mr. Craig, do you have anything?
I do. One of the items that will be the Alabama Association of School Boards, as well as the State Superintendent's Association, is discussing at this time is a constitutional amendment that will be on the ballot in November. One has to do specifically, Amendment 4 has to do with creating the requirement for a 2/3 vote in the legislature to pass legislation that would result in unfunded costs over $50,000 to local districts. That again will be on the ballot.
November 4th, I believe. As I said, I think both those organizations are gearing up to provide information to the public on that vote and the nature of that issue, and we will certainly be receiving more on that. With regard to our redistricting proposal, we are currently working to get, the United States Justice Department has requested information through Mr. Sweeney. I am working on getting that information to Mr. Sweeney so that he can forward to the folks in Washington as they begin and continue their review of that item. Enrollment, we have just completed the reporting window. Enrollment for school systems in the state of Alabama, basically, to just completely summarize, is the average enrollment for the 20 school days. After Labor Day, we have completed that window. It looks like our enrollment as a district will be up about 6 students. Currently, the draft report, the draft of that enrollment is about 13,888, and last year's official enrollment was 13,882. Our enrollment today is over 13,900. As I said, it's an average over that time, so we kind of grew late in that window, so that if those students that are still coming are not in that average window. So it looks like enrollment will roughly be flat overall this year, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Is there any new business from any of the board members?
Madam President, Mr. Craig just mentioned Amendment 4. Ms. White has got the information on this amendment. I would like to ask that it be considered that we have a resolution as a board to adopt the support of Amendment 4 during the general election. Ms. White? You have the... Would you like to read it, Mr. Craig? My voice.
Sure.
Resolution supporting Amendment 4. Whereas the Hoover City Schools Board of Education is aware that Alabama's voters will consider on the November 4th general election ballot Amendment 4, which would provide local school board the same constitutional protection from unfunded state mandates as other local governmental entities. And whereas other local governmental entities, including county commissions and municipalities, have been protected from unfunded mandates since a 1998 constitutional amendment. And whereas local school boards remain the only local governmental entity without state constitutional protection from unfunded mandates. And whereas local revenue that local school leaders prioritize for a specific purpose is subject to being diverted to comply with unfunded state mandates. And whereas with ever-tightening budgets, local school boards which do not have the authority to generate revenue like cities and counties deserve the same protection as other governmental entities. And whereas the Hoover City Schools Board of Education believes that it has the responsibility to educate voters regarding the importance of Amendment 4. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Hoover City Schools Board of Education support passage of Amendment 4 and determine that advocating the passage of Amendment 4 serves a public purpose and furthers the purposes and missions of the school system by seeking to protect scarce resources which should be devoted to the education of children. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be recorded in the minutes of the Hoover City Schools Board of Education, done this 6th day of October 2014.
This, the legislature right now, as you know, to pass a code has to have a majority vote of the legislature, both chambers. And at that point, of course, it goes to the governor for signature, veto, or it can pass with time. This requires the legislature in the future would have to have a 2/3 vote before they can mandate anything over $50,000. This means our tax dollars, our budget, they can't do something in Montgomery, tell us we must do it here, and then require us to pay for it. If they require it by code, then they've got to fund it. So I think this is a good thing. I hope our board agrees. Madam President, I'd like to motion that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution for Amendment 4 is approved. Any other new business at this time? If not, do we have any public participation tonight?
My name is Tricia Crane. I live in the Green Valley section of Hoover. Back in June, Mr. Craig brought a reduction in force request. And at that time, John Anderson from AL.com documented that Hoover resident Tricia Crane asked how much money would be saved by eliminating these jobs. Craig said he didn't know off the top of his head, but that amount could be calculated. I wrote to, who did I wrote to? I wrote to Donna Frazier back on August the 3rd, and I said, could we get that number? Mrs. Frazier responded the same evening, said, I feel certain that Mr. Craig or Mrs. Ante can answer that question, Trish. I responded, Mr. Murphy responded, said, Mrs. Frazier, I agree. Will Superintendent Craig be prepared to answer this question at tonight's board meeting? There was no response. On August the 11th, Mr. Murphy wrote again to Mrs. Frazier and copied me on it and said, I understand that the beginning of the school year is very, very busy. However, has anyone responded to the referenced question? If not, it may be beneficial to state a time frame, 1 week, next board meeting, etc., in which a response can be anticipated. Mrs. Frazier responded about an hour and a half later, this is August the 11th, and Mr. Gaston was copied on all of these emails, so as the district's communications person, he understood that this communication was happening. Mrs. Frazier said, I'm meeting with Andy tomorrow finally. RIF savings question on my list, is on my list. I will report back. There was no response. Last night, I wrote to Mr. Murphy and Mrs. Frazier. I didn't include you, Mr. Gaston. You weren't really in the loop anyway. Mrs. Frazier and Mr. Murphy, can someone please tell me why the superintendent has been unable to produce these numbers? Please, please, please do not make me ask this question and read each of your emails from the podium tomorrow night. Is Mr. Craig simply incompetent, or was there no basis for the RIF in the first place? 4 months have gone by. Your evasiveness is beginning to look suspicious, as though there actually were no savings by riffing those 9 employees, yet the full Board of Education approved the action. I won't go into the rest of the email. I got a response. Mr. Murphy sent an email to Mr. Craig, forwarded this string of emails, which is why I felt it was appropriate to read them here. And I just got all my pages out of order. But, so I'm going to ask the question from the podium. Has there been any savings calculated from the RIF that was declared in June?
Let me answer your question with a question. You pride yourself with a tremendous amount of detailed information relative to budgets and everything else. You're here at every board meeting and report it. You know who the people were that were RIFed. You know their salary schedule.
No, I don't know what salary schedule they had. I don't have that information.
Well, the point of it is, you know, it's almost a wee bit rhetorical to me for you to ask the question and pull out the stick like it's
It isn't. It isn't rhetorical, Mr. Cooper. Let me tell you why. Because my payroll request, my request for payroll records is an open records request that has been unanswered since what, February? September? I mean, December? So no, I don't know how much their salaries were.
Within that payroll request that you put out, did you not ask for W-2 copies of W-2 forms?
I said, no, that's not. I said it's the information that's similar because Mr. Gaston was not familiar with what records I was requesting.
But to the point at hand,
we can't get W-2
it's a rhetorical question because, in effect, you know the answer. Maybe not to the
No,
cent.
I don't.
Maybe not to the cent. But in the scheme of things, when you talk about savings relative to $160, $180 million, probably not that significant. I'm not discounting anything, and we should respond to you, I agree. But I wouldn't go so far as to say this is a matter of distrust or whatever, because somebody won't give you something that you know the answer to already.
Mr. Hoover, let me make it very clear. I do not know the answer to this question. I would not be standing here tonight and asking this question if I had the answer. I promise you, I really have better things to do. Okay? I have no way to get a response from Mr. Craig. I have asked Mrs. Frazier, Mr. Murphy, I've asked Mr. Gaston, and now you sit here and you defend Mr. Craig's unwillingness to answer me by saying that I should somehow know this answer by osmosis? No.
I'm not defending Mr. Craig. I'm just saying you profess yourself to have all this information. You do a very good job at managing it all.
I don't have salary records.
$20.
I don't. I have no idea how much money Wendy Brandon or Lisa Parenka or any of the other people on that list were paid. I don't know that information. I don't. So Mr. Gaston could get it. Mrs. Veal knows it. Mr. Craig knows it. Mrs. Auntie knows it. Y'all, I hope, would have access to it. I don't know. I don't know.
I've submitted, all I'm saying is, you know what position they have. There is a salary schedule out there with a range, and
it's different for every year. And assistant principals are paid off of whatever salary. No, I shouldn't have to play guess on the chart which salary matches which employee. I reject that supposition. And I think that these people here are smarter than that. To think that I, as a person who writes about all this stuff, I'm supposed to just automatically know how much money we save from the ref. I really wouldn't bother asking. I promise you. I wouldn't bother asking if I had the answer. So will there be an answer? You stated here in a public meeting that that savings could be calculated.
Mr. Cooper, I've asked the Finance Department to investigate those 9 employees to compute what they would have been paid had those positions been employed for the upcoming fiscal year. They are working on it, is my understanding.
you're going to give her a response
Yes.
soon.
Soon.
Post it on the website.
You'll post it on the website?
Maybe.
Maybe?
I mean, as far as maybe that's an avenue with which we disseminate it.
Interesting answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. How you doing tonight?
War Eagle.
Roll Tide.
I have 2 degrees at the University of Alabama. I'm sure glad Alabama didn't play Auburn Saturday. But my name's Dan Fulton. I live over on Alford Avenue. I was just going to reiterate, everyone be sure to vote November 4th. That's important. I was in a meeting today, and we're trying to get people registered to vote and get the turnout, get out the vote, GOTV, get out the vote. And please help those, the seniors who might need help getting to the polls. And some people are not registered and they need to be registered. I was just going to bring up that I was looking at the Homewood City Schools website, and I noted that they had a education advisory committee. You can go to the website and it describes it. I think they meet 10 times a year, and it is made up of teachers and parents and I guess stakeholders. I think that's a great idea. And I would like the Hoover Board of Education and Mr. Craig to consider maybe setting up such a committee, and some of the issues that we maybe have to come up, they can be kind of hashed out and chewed on in these meetings. And if it's something really that feels that it's worth presenting to the board, then it can be presented from that committee. And it might give another voice to those in the community who have a concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Brian Connett. I'm a father of a 2.5-year-old daughter and a 7-month-old son. We live in a neighborhood off Shades Cross Road, in the vicinity of Floyd Crest. If the current zoning plan holds up, my daughter will start kindergarten again in the 2017-2018 school year, and my son starting 2 years later. Based on the state reading and math assessments, in 2013, Gwen Elementary School ranked worse than 57.9% of elementary schools in Alabama. As recently as 2006, Gwynn outperformed 70% of elementary schools. Apart from a slight improvement in 2009 and a minor improvement between 2012 and 2013, Gwynn's test scores have declined every year since. That having been said, my questions are as follows. In your view, is Gwynn ranking worse than the majority of schools in Alabama acceptable? What are the top 3 reasons that Gwynn's ranking has declined over the past several years? What, if anything, are you doing to improve Gwynn's performance? What goals or milestones have been set, e.g., could we perhaps a goal of getting back above the 65th percentile? And realizing that we still have almost 3 years before my oldest starts school, how long do you think it will take to obtain whatever goals or milestones have been set? Thank you for your time and your hard work for the district. I'll sit down and let you answer. Thank you.
You want to give a copy of your questions to Mr. Craig? Sure. Thank you. Can he respond to you via email?
That'd be great.
Yeah, and most likely we would involve the principal of the school and set up time to discuss these questions.
That's great.
Is your email on this question?
It is not. I had already emailed him though, so you
Okay. Thank you. Any other public participation tonight? Yes, ma'am? And Mr. Faulkner, you're welcome to speak tonight if you want to. If you have any comments or anything you want to make. Okay, thanks for coming. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Amy Rakes. I live in High Point Trace. My kids are students at Gwynn. I know you said you submitted the redistricting proposal to Department of Justice. Were there any changes from the last one?
It's the one that's currently on the website.
From the last meeting.
Was presented, and the full version has been subsequently posted to the website, so you should see it on the website.
Thank you.
Rakes, R-A-K-E-S. John Anderson, let me mention one thing too. You had asked me a question. It is the recommendation, it is not in a recommendation form. You asked me that this week on the rezoning. It's still in proposal form, so to speak. You asked if it was a recommendation that was on the table, and I told you I was unclear about that. It is not in the form of a recommendation to the board currently. Okay? Thank you. Yes, sir. Oh, okay.
My name is Kurt Posey. I'm from Bluff Park, and I just wanted to, I don't know whether to address this to you, Mr. Craig, or to you, Mr. Sweeney. What additional documents did the DOJ ask for in addition to the proposal?
They've requested it of Mr. Sweeney, but it's mapping type information, student demographic type information.
Good, just fair enough, just want to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
Good evening. My name is Carlissa Cunningham, and I live in Huntington Trail. And currently, my children go to Spain Park High School. I was at the last board meeting, and I did want to come up then, but you cut it off, and I wanted to be respectful of the time. No, it's fine. I just wanted to be respectful. But I did have a question because I was listening to all the comments and all the numbers and the statistics, and some of the statistics that stood out to me is that when you did a review of the past 10 years, you talked about how the number of minority students in the Hoover area had doubled. I think it had gone from 10% to 20%. And that part of the reason for the rezoning was because the disparity of low free and reduced lunches, and how Greystone Elementary, they didn't have those students, and that was part of the, the rebalancing. And I know there was a lot of talk and comments about, the test scores and, the students moving in. And for me, coming to the board meetings over the last year or so, I know that's been a big topic of discussion, with the influx of students coming in and how attractive, our school district is. And, and it's true, it is an attractive school district. I can tell you that I myself came to this school district because as a student at Sanford University, I got a scholarship for an apartment in Hoover, and I've managed to been able to stay here. And Dr. Carrington, who was retired this evening, I remember her asking me years ago to come to a board meeting, and I told her I didn't come because I was an apartment dweller, and I didn't think I had a voice. As a homeowner in the city, I feel more like I have a voice, but I really could connect with those parents who lived in apartments who felt like they could not be heard here. And then, I also connected with the fact that I volunteered in the school system, and I wanted to be a part of what's going on and kind of be heard. But just in a little bit of the research that I've had the time to do, because with having teenagers in sports and working a full-time job and everything like that, it gets a little hectic. But I just wanted to know, with being so intentional of trying to make sure that the zoning is leveraged and that the dynamic, is kind of fair across the board, how intentional have we been in making sure that the dynamic for the minorities moving in have teachers, counselors, or aides that look like them for them to connect with? Because some of the research that I've looked at says that some of these students fare better if they have somebody that they feel like they can talk with. And for me specifically, being at Spain Park, my sons are African American males. They don't have a counselor they can talk to. And even now, this year, they don't have a coach that they feel looks like them, that they can connect with. So, we do a lot of things, with our boys and putting them in different programs to make sure that they are faring well. And Dr. Jernigan has done a great job. He's created this success program that some of the children can get into. But all the parents don't have that information. But again, just in the limited research I've done, it talks about how important it is for students to feel like they're welcome and they're connected. And a lot of the sentiment I felt from the parents at the other meeting was they felt like they weren't heard, weren't seen, weren't important because decisions are being made, and they felt like, or we feel like, we have no part of that. So I guess that's my basic question. I know some of the criteria. We have a very high expectation for our teachers to have their master's degrees and hopefully go on for their doctorates, and I think that's great and that's important, but, in the overall grand scheme of things, these little kids that may be bused, they're not thinking in terms of who has a master's or a PhD. They're thinking in terms of who cares enough to teach them.
Your question
is, have we been intentional to make sure that we have positions for minorities to come in, just that these students, the rate went from, I think it was 10% to 20%, it doubled, and that was some of the numbers that stood out to me and how that area has grown. But has that area grown for our teachers, our counselors, our principals? I know the qualifications are steep, but just as intentional as we've been to look at how we rezoned to make this more balanced.
Those numbers with regard to employees?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'd really like to have Ms. Bill involved with that conversation.
Yes, sir.
She knows those. She's head of our human resources.
Yes,
she knows those numbers a lot better than I do.
Yes, sir.
I know I certainly have direct involvement with hiring administrators, and I would not challenge you, but ask to look at those numbers as well. But if we could sit down with you and Ms. Bill and look at some of those items, be happy to do that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments tonight? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You change your mind?
Well, sure. No, don't throw me in that.
Hey, Dave, don't do this vote early, vote often thing.
No, I'll be very, very brief. I'm David Faulkner, and I'm glad to be here tonight. And just as some of the sentiments were expressed by the lady that just spoke about a great school system that Hoover has, as I go to Montgomery, I am, just so you know, I'm on the I'll be on the ballot on November 4th, but I'm unopposed. So to represent Hoover, Homewood, and Mountain Brook. And I want you to know that I recognize that my number one priority going down to Montgomery is to ensure the continued success of the school systems in this district. I said that on the campaign trail. I mean it. I want to say it publicly. I want your board to know it. I told you before, they'll have my cell. I'll be in contact with this board and your superintendent to make sure that I do everything I can in Montgomery as one of 105 House members to ensure the continued success of this school system. Mountain Brook, Homewood, Hoover, all three great school systems, and I want to make sure that I do everything in my power to keep that going. I know that's why you live here, just like you just said. And we're very fortunate and blessed that we have these school systems. And that is why people, when I was on the campaign trail knocking on doors, that's what I heard. That's why we live in Hoover. So I'm going to do what I can down there. Just want to say that, and that's all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments tonight? If not, our next board meeting will be November the 3rd, 2014. If there's no further business, we are adjourned.